I read and trust the signs, communicated to me from the plant and animal world, dream world, and spirit world, in order to make sense of the human world. It's my way of being that I call vulnerable resistance. Some of you might have seen me perform the story of the name Reina Genevieve spiraling into my third eye. Reina Genevieve! I called to the sky, and a female cardinal swooped down and hovered at my face, and then flew with me as I walked. And that's how I learned I was pregnant, that I was pregnant with a girl, and that her name was Reina Genevieve. When Greg's mother died, we were driving in the car, and I said, I just wish there was a way I could know that she hears us. And right then an owl, the symbol for death and transformation, swooped right across our windshield. Later, a white buffalo appeared in my dream to convey a message of peace and well-being. More recently, I thought I felt the spirit of John T. Horn in the wind. And I said, John, if that's you, show me by helping this creaking cedar tree to finally fall and not hurt anything. And I watched the winds intensify, and I watched the tree swirl and crack and fall in slow motion and land gently on my garage roof without hurting a thing, not even the roof. And that's how I knew that John continues to hold everything that he touches with care. And today I want to share with you a series of convergences and a culmination of signs that helped me to find Homeplace. You see, I've been searching for Homeplace for years and years and years. After Google mapping every city of every job opening, after contemplating every potential location's geography, topography, local ideology, ethnic diversity, creative opportunity, I decided with certainty that the place that I was meant to call home was New York City. Yes, I was ready for the gritty. I was ready for the city. It was time for a serious life shift. And then springtime came to Southern Illinois. The lilacs intoxicated me with their fragrant cliche. The tulips screamed neon announcements that they survived the deer. My friend gave me truckloads of free sandstone. I laid sandstone pathways. I planted tree roots. Just when I thought I had successfully detached from the land, here I was with its very soil under my nails. It was April 2010. I had recently finished my PhD and I needed a job. The economy was in the thick of its notorious downturn, and the redbuds were in bloom. I walked the country roads where poverty and beauty collided. I loved the corner pasture with the old horse whose cockleburs I removed from his mane. I loved the big Victorian with the sign out front that said, haircuts. I loved the trailer with the life-size statue of Kuan Yin standing beneath the tree guarded by the two lions. I didn't want to leave Southern Illinois. I realized it. But how could I stay? How could I make a living here? My mind returned to a vision I'd been refining in my mind for years. Mandala Gardens, my idea for a creative retreat space where scholars, artists, activists, healers, people could come from all over and walk through my gardens and share inspiration. I could make this happen. I could stay in Southern Illinois, and I could make this happen. I realized it. And minutes later, my phone rang. Dr. Tigerlily, I'm calling from New York City. We received your application for the full-time tenure-track position in speech communication. Are you still interested in the position? I wanted to say no, but I knew I had to say yes. This was about a real job in New York City. Yes, I'm interested. Okay, thank you, that's all we wanted. And she hung up. So later, I told Greg all about about my new ideas for Mandala Gardens, but he just shook his head. We just don't have enough parking, and we really need another building. Undaunted, I went for another walk. I saw a notice of foreclosure on a house right next door to us. This house had been abandoned for a year. The couple had divorced, and they just had gone their separate ways. They must have stopped making payments. It felt clean to me that they chose to simply walk away from this symbol of a life they no longer shared. The notice said that the foreclosure was to become effective April 21st. That was tomorrow. This timing was serendipitous. This house on 3 acres that adjoins our gardens, this long driveway with ample parking, this huge vacant building. This was what I needed to make my vision come true. I was so excited. I ran home, I opened up my laptop. Sitting in my inbox was an email that I had just received from the college in New York City requesting a phone interview with me for the very next day or the day after that. The house going into foreclosure at the same time as this New York City interview was the mother of all convergences. The phone interview went well. She told me that she would contact me within the next few days to let me know either way whether they were going to schedule another interview. I was excited about this tenure-track position. To choose this job was to choose academia coupled with the world's greatest city. But to choose this job was to reject Mandala Gardens just when it was seeming like a real possibility. I told myself sternly, surely it would be lofty and unwise to turn down a real job with real benefits in the field of your training, in a city you love, to follow a vision that you're only imagining in your dreams, right? But I was like taking this way out too far. They might not even offer me the job. I marveled at the truly coffee and granola moment this was for me. City and soil, New York City, Mandala Gardens. This was the ultimate life path decision. No matter what I chose, this would be significantly life-defining, and not just for me, but for Greg and Raina too. I decided to put all of it out of my mind. But all I could think about were all the new mandalas that I was going to design and build on new land. I saw a giant labyrinth, heirloom gardens, children's gardens, a pumpkin patch, honeybees. I saw pathways lined with white stone that glowed in the moonlight, and a hidden bench with a wooden box that contained binoculars and a butterfly identification book inside. I know, right? I was thinking about creative retreats, conferences, workshops. I saw haven, enlightenment, sustainability. I confided to Greg, I don't want to move to New York City. I didn't want the job. I want to stay right here and purchase this property and build Mandala Gardens. So we started crunching numbers. We didn't have any cash for a down payment. This house was in serious disrepair. I only had one more paycheck that was guaranteed, and it was a half paycheck, and I didn't know if I was going to be rehired. So fear and doubt and anxiety, it all just kind of closed in on me. You know, what if we bought this house and it was a total money pit and we just sunk into deeper and deeper debt and I couldn't make my thing happen? What if I failed? I went to the center of my spiral garden and I sat there until I was grounded and rooted in centeredness. And then I walked my land. I went to the back corner where there's a giant old oak tree. I never have stood beneath this oak tree because it's actually on the neighbor's property and blocked by a fence. But this time I walked across the property line and I stood beneath this oak tree for the first time ever. And I placed my hand on the tree and I heard a voice say, "This is where you live." The clarity and the strength of those words crashed over me, fast and unexpected. I was overcome with recognition. This is where I live. This is my home, where my dreams have taken root. How could I have ever doubted? I ran back up to my house to get my sage stick. I needed to protect this property so that nobody would make an offer on it. I needed to connect the two properties so that they were sealed as one. I walked the outer boundary of the two properties to seal them. And as I approached a portion of my land that I had designated as Spirit Sanctuary, a rush of gratitude consumed me and moved me to tears. I felt as though the spirits of the land were thanking me. And I said, no, thank you for all you've given me. And I exhaled, a long exhale, and I said, the two properties are now bound. May they forever be protected. And right as I spoke those words, I heard a bird squawk overhead, and I looked up, and it was a great blue heron, symbol of self-determination and self-reliance. It flew right over my head and right across both parcels of land, physically sealing them as one and reminding me that I had the strength and ability to manifest this dream. The great blue heron and the oak tree affirmed for me that I had nothing to be afraid of. They answered the question that I've been asking my whole life. I was on my life path. We bought the house and land, and the college, I never heard from them. I was never formally accepted nor formally rejected. Rather, I made the decision on my own. And later, I went to write down the story, and I wrote the words, great blue heron and oak tree, speak to me. And just as I finished writing those 9 words, something caught my eye, and I looked, and a great blue heron was flying right outside my window. And I watched it soar majestically through the air, and it landed right in the very oak tree of which I speak, and of which spoke to me. Affirmation is everywhere, always. And this tiger lily is planted.